Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well. Chris Phillips here, the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. As you can see, we are back in studio. We're live here on this Friday, TGIF. Friday the 13th, by the way, for those of you who celebrate or believe in such things. Again, really excited to chat with you all. I see Stephen Borwell Jr., Hudson, Brennan M., Hunter Kelly, also those in the Big Cock Club Discord. However, the TDC Questions channel, be sure your questions are answered there. Again, guys, really excited to chat with you after an off day yesterday. And I want to start by saying thank you so much to the Carolina Cigars boys. Had a fantastic time down in Hilton Head Island, played some golf yesterday at a fantastic golf course, the Robert Trent Jones course at Palmetto Dunes. Had an incredible time. Weather was great. The golf was so-so. It was okay. A little inconsistent, but either way, we had a blast. And again, appreciate you guys rocking and rolling with the punches, and really excited to be back today and talking some Gamecocks, talking some South Carolina football. We dropped some way too early predictions yesterday on the podcast, dropped the graphic this morning. We also dropped our rankings of the 2023 football schedule and easiest to toughest games that are upcoming this fall. And, of course, we got basketball this weekend as well. Women's won last night against Kentucky. So it's a great day to have a day. And, again, really appreciate you all tuning in. Of course, guys, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use the promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Again, they got college sports, pro sports, anything and everything in between. So head over to Prize Picks. Again, use that promo code TSUS to receive that 100% deposit match. And when you check them out, be sure to tell them that your friends over at the Spurs Up Show sent you. Again, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Matt Jones says, how much of an impact will Riley be in recruiting next year? Pringle, Thompson, Bennett. Of course, I knew it would not take long to have this question come up. Garrett Riley has been hired by that team in the upstate. And, of course, this is a Gamecock show. But I think, folks, that, and I understand it, right, because we had a lot of conversation about this in the Big Cock Club Discord. I do not worry about what Clem Sucks is doing on a day-in, day-out basis. However, to insinuate that Gamecock fans do not care about what their arch rival is doing, and to also insinuate that Clem Sucks fans do not care about what their arch rival is doing, it's complete bogus and it's complete nonsense. And you're lying to yourself. When you are in competition with your brother, you pay attention to what your brother is doing. That is any facet of life. That's any walk of life. So the hire of Garrett Riley, and my immediate reaction to it was this. Am I still confident in Shane Beamer, Dowell Loggins, Clayton White, Pete Lembo, and South Carolina football as a whole? Yes, I am. Do I still believe South Carolina is going to be better off in the long run? Yes, I do. Do I believe the Gamecocks are going to beat Clem Sucks and make it 2 in a row this November at Williams-Brice Stadium? Yes, I do, and I will not budge off that prediction all preseason long. But my immediate reaction, there was a sting. There was a bitterness to it because it felt like that was the guy that we wanted. Maybe it wasn't the guy Shane Beamer wanted in the long run, but it was the guy that we wanted. It was the guy that Gamecock Nation wanted. It was the flashy name we all wanted, and we didn't get him. And not only did we not get him, the arch rival got him. Guys, it's like when you're in high school and you're trying to get a date with that girl and she turns you down. Not only does she turn you down, she goes on a date with your arch nemesis. Like, it's that level of disgruntledness, pettiness, whatever you want to label it. Again, it's not an indictment on how I feel about Shane Beamer and South Carolina football and anything of that nature, but I think you'd be lying to yourself. You just say, well, we don't care at all. Yes, you do. You do care. And both sides care. Both sides keep up with what the other side is doing. It's just the fact of a rivalry. All rivalries are wired that way. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Yes, Matt Jones, to your point, what's the impact that Riley will have in recruiting? I'm sure there will be an impact. To think there won't be an impact, right? Because here's what you can't do. You can't be a hypocrite, right? Because if South Carolina hired Garrett Riley, we would be saying it was a home run, grand slam. It was the greatest hire of all time. We would. Everybody would. You can't lie to yourself. You would. So all of a sudden, just because he goes to Clem sucks does not mean Garrett Riley sucks. That's not what that means. That's not what that all of a sudden means. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, again, we're in January, right? So we got a long way to go until kickoff. And who knows? Maybe Garrett Riley turns out to be a dud and he isn't all that good. But certainly a storyline that I think, again, you're foolish to insinuate that Gamecock fans are just going to completely block it out and ignore it and we shouldn't care. And I mean, it's the arch rival, right? Like we have two favorite teams, South Carolina and whoever's playing Clem sucks. Like you cannot sit here and tell me what they do doesn't matter when there's so many people who tune into this show and tune into every show and Gamecock fans on a day in, day out basis that say, well, we could go 1-11 as long as we beat Clem sucks. I'm good with that. Like you just can't have it both ways. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
From Will from Dirty Myrtle.
Oh my God. Will, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you, man. What's going on?
Just calling to voice my utter disgust for the fact that fucking Clemson got Garrett Riley. Like that shit hit me out of nowhere. Like I could not believe that happened. Because I was under the impression that nobody was getting him unless it was a head coaching job. And then for them to go do that, it really boosts their program quite a bit. You know what I mean? Like what they've been lacking is offense. And then for them to do that, it just kind of puts things in perspective a little bit. Like we're still the little brother in that way. Like we don't have the resources to get a guy like that, and they do. And it kind of hurts a little bit. And it also, like you said, puts much more pressure on Dowell Loggins to perform early, because if he craps the bed this year, you know everybody's going to be like, well, we can't get the big guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's definitely just shifts things a little bit. I think felt like we were closing the gap on Clemson a little bit. You know, like we were definitely getting closer, and then with this, it seems like maybe they spaced themselves back out a little bit. What's your thought?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the default response will be, hey, man, you got to trust Shane Beamer. But I'm certainly not going to, when you take a step back and you take your Garnet glasses off and you take your Gamecock fandom out of it and you just look at it, you just look at it for what it is, and that South Carolina got Dowell Loggins and Clem sucks got Garrett Riley. You know what this is? You know what this is? That hiring, all this is doing, this isn't changing anything. I think all this is doing is reopening the scab that is the truth. That is, if you dig deeper behind trust Shane Beamer, right, behind that blanket statement, most people were not thrilled with the hire. And that's okay. That's okay. Like when you look at the hire on paper, that's a justifiable opinion and reaction to have. It is. Whether you want to hear that or not, it is. So I think that's what you're seeing. And, you know, the hope, obviously, what we're all hoping and praying is that Shane Beamer is this mad scientist behind closed doors. And obviously, I said it many times when Loggins was hired that Shane Beamer has shit out more football than you and I will ever know. But, you know, when you look at the resumes and when you look at there's no comparing the two guys. I'm sorry. There's just no comparing the two. No. There's not. On paper. Now, again, the game's not played on paper, and Shane Beamer knows more about ball than you and I do. But, again, I said it a little bit ago. It's like going after that girl, you know, when you're in high school or whenever you're going after that girl. Not only does she turn you down, she goes out with your mortal enemy. Like, it stings. Right. It hits different. It hurts more. And to, again, insinuate that it doesn't apply more pressure to Dowell Loggins, there was already pressure. There was already immense pressure. Spencer Rattler and Juice Wells are back. The offense better be better this year. But if we get off to a slow, sluggish start, or we don't have quite the year we thought we were going to have offensively, it don't matter if we win 9 games. If our offense isn't much, much better than it was, and all of a sudden Clem sucks is back to scoring 40 a game, they're blowing out ACC teams, and let's say they come into Willie B and they get the dub, boy, it is going to be relentless heat, right? Because you're going to be looked at and say,
I know.
hey, you're thinking out of the box. Like what you did. You thought you were a mad scientist. You thought you could outsmart the game. Well, it didn't work. And now they're back ahead of us. We had all this momentum.
Right.
We had all this momentum. And instead of capitalizing on that momentum and throwing a bag, we went out and tried to reinvent the wheel. Why did we do that? Why didn't we just go get the guy who was proven at the college level? Go get the guy that was the hot name. Maybe there's something to that. I'm not saying this was going to happen. I like to present both sides of the argument, my friend. If you get up in your feelings and all butthurt, you're missing the point. You know what I mean? It's a real conversation to have. On the flip side, again, let Loggins cook. Dowell Loggins could end up being the best OC in the SEC. We have no idea. He's never called a snap at the college level. Right? Garrett Riley might be a bust. Cade Klubnik might suck. I don't know. And I guess whatever they do doesn't matter. Hey, if you beat Clem Sucks, who gives a damn, right? If you're able to beat them the last game of the year, doesn't matter if they average 50 a game. As long as you beat them, who cares? But it does add pressure. Absolutely, it adds pressure, and you're foolish to insinuate otherwise.
And you just get the overwhelming feeling that it's gonna elevate Cade Klubnik to another level. And that offense, and it's going to be a tougher team to beat. But we just got to worry about what we got going on. And just because you question something doesn't mean you don't back Shane Beamer. People are so quick to make you like, oh, you're not a real Gamecock. If you, it's like, no, bro.
Well, those are people that are scared and cower in the face of banter and just critical opinions and critical conversations. Those are those people. But like a lot of people who get pissed off at what I say, it's not that anything I'm saying is wrong. It just makes them uncomfortable. The insecure expose their own selves on social media and in the world. So let them do it. That's the beauty of this show and of TSUS is I feel like we've definitely cultivated a community where the beauty is in the banter. We open critical conversation. Those who are made uncomfortable by it expose themselves and they don't follow along. And that's totally fine. To each their own. For some people to love it, others have to hate it. For some people to thrive in the conversation, some have to be uncomfortable by it. It's just the nature of the beast, and we will not change up. And I'm glad we can have this conversation because again, it doesn't mean you don't back Shane Beamer or think Dowell Loggins can be a great OC. But yeah, Garrett Riley is a better hire than Dowell Loggins. That's a fact. Right now, it may not be that way 5 years from now, but right now, that's a fact. I don't know how can you even debate it, and that's okay. Again, it's not a telling of what will happen this year or 5 years from now, but that's where we sit today. So, I mean, again, I just refuse to sit here and just say, we'll just trust Shane Beamer. That's the blanket statement, and that's all we have to find some joy, pipe down, slapdick. Well, let's have an actual conversation. So, because I think there's a lot of talking points around it.
Yeah, and you know the best programs, their fan bases aren't just sitting quiet and okay with everything that goes on. The best programs are the most critical ones of everything that, you know what I mean? Like, you think Alabama fans a lot of them are pissed with how the year went this year.
Yeah, they're all pissed. They had a bad year for them. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, expectations are different. Obviously, ours aren't there. But we got, as Gamecock fans, start setting high expectations for what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to start setting the bar higher because I feel like Shane Beamer's going to take that up another notch, and that it's okay for us to think critical about certain things or have opinions. It doesn't mean that you don't care or you disagree with everything. It's just that you got a fucking brain and you're using it. But anyway, I'll jump off of here, bro. I'll holler at you later.
Will, great stuff, man. Hey, I always appreciate your conversation and banter, and we'll talk soon, my guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Take care. Great stuff. That was a fantastic call, Will from Dirty Myrtle. And I agree with everything you said. And again, it doesn't mean you don't trust Shane Beamer. It doesn't mean you don't trust the direction of the program. But Garrett Riley's a good hire, guys. I don't give a damn what you want to say or think because you just can't. Guys, if we had waited and we hired Garrett Riley yesterday, Brendan M., you'd be singing his praises. Don't even try to convince me otherwise. Don't even try to. We got Brendan M. going off in the Big Cock Club Discord how terrible of an OC Garrett Riley is. I mean, come on, man. You can't be a hypocrite, man. Like I would have been. It'd have been Riley to the moon. Beamer Riley 23. Which on that note, guys, this is a complete side note, but we've been working with Spencer Rattler's team behind the scenes. The plan, I believe, we should have the Beamer Rattler 23 shirts released no later than Monday. Really excited for it, guys. All right, let's jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
Chase.
Chase, what's up, man? How are you?
What's going on, Chris?
Just hanging out, man. What's going on?
I gotta say, man, there's a lot of doom and gloom going on with Jaheim Bell and Marshawn Lloyd, and Clemson's now got Garrett Riley. But I mean, if you're really thinking about it, everyone was arguing that we're worse off this off season than we were when we were last season. I mean, if you want to be real about it, we're better off. You got Marshawn Lloyd, who is going to fumble the ball whenever he wants to fumble the ball or break his leg. And you got Jaheim Bell and Mama Bell with the drama that's gone. You got Jordan Buss that only got 5 sacks in 3 years with us. That's gone. I mean, we're replacing better replacements for them. Reality speaking is that, everyone's Gamecock fans are in a panty wad right now because they hired Garrett Riley. But reality speaking is Shane Beamer's already got the concept we need. Y'all forget that we beat Clemson not at home in their own stadium. I think that speaks the most for how impactful that win was against Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Hey, listen, I agree with you. That the proof's in the pudding, right? We beat Clemson in that last game, and yeah, I mean, I think we're better off without, without the drama of the Jaheim Bell situation, and the way the Marshawn Lloyd thing worked out was unfortunate, and obviously Jordan Burch has chosen Oregon, so you wish him best of luck, and it is what it is. I think we'll be fine. I think we might be adding a big time edge guy in the portal here very soon, but yeah, I mean, listen, I'm still very excited, obviously, about the direction, the future of the program under Shane Beamer. And again, we have that win over Clemson that happened just recently, and I feel confident about us beating them yet again at home this year. But yeah, so I mean, dude, I don't think anybody sits here today and I mean, because nothing negative happened, for the University of South Carolina over the last 24, 48, 72 hours, right? Only positive. I mean, this week, literally, Spencer Rattler and Juice Wells are back. So, I mean, we're still in a great position, man. I think it's just a normal reaction to what the arch rival's doing. And, if Garrett Riley would have gone to Texas, or he'd have gone to Southern Cal, or he'd have gone to Michigan, or he'd have gone to Arkansas, nobody would have gave a damn. But it's because of where he went that we're talking about it. So it just is what it is.
I got 10-2 is my prediction.
10-2. Okay. I love that. Yeah.
James Reynolds 10-2.
The James Reynolds 10-2 pick. Love that.
I feel like, if the argument you made last season is actually a little bit more valid this season, given we probably will have the best roster this season that we will have for, I would say about two more years after their Rattler and Wells are gone. I mean, the expectations need to be high this season, man. Rattler just balled out. We got our offense together. We're replacing our weakest defensive members with better defensive members in the transfer portal. There's no reason why we can't go at least 9 wins. I mean, I think our losses are to Georgia and Tennessee. I say Tennessee because, I mean, for one, we're going to Tennessee, and that guy that came in after Hooker got injured looks like a badass.
Yeah, I mean, Bazooka Joe, man, he's got a cannon. They also got the $8 million man coming in at quarterback. Tennessee's going to be a good team. I think with Heupel's system, Heupel's offense, I don't know that they're going to be like a challenging Georgia type deal. But I mean, I think they're a good team. I think they're here to stay. I don't see Tennessee like next year going back to 6-6 and the Tennessee of old we saw. So that's going to be a challenge. That's why I picked it as a loss. Obviously, I've locked in 9-3. I say I've locked in for my way too early predictions. Of course, these are subject to change. I can almost guarantee you they will change to some degree before I lock in my actual picks in July. But, I mean, I would agree with you, man, that the expectation should be high. They absolutely should. I thought I was keeping expectations pretty realistic at 8-4 in 2022. I didn't think that was overzealous, over the top. It felt like it was for 10 to 12 games, but obviously the last two, I mean, want to finish to the season. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you that, with the return of Juice and Spencer, you got to sort of shoot your shot this year. And this has got to be a year that, year 3, you really take that next step. And, you want to continue to overachieve. And you have the opportunity again to do so. And I think you've got the pieces. I mean, I think there's still holes to fill, but no reason why there shouldn't be a high belief amongst Gamecock Nation why we can't, make some noise. And what does that look like? I'm not saying we're going to win the SEC East, but yeah, I think the opportunity's there to have a really big year.
And I know I've done it before, but, a little shout out to the guys that listen to Chris's podcast are in the Big Hawk Club Discord. You need to get in there, man. We need more people in there. We got guys that do streams and all that. You pay, $10 in a month, and you get to, a lot of those guys give you a lot of information. Not Chris. Chris don't know anything, but, we got a lot of guys in there that leak a lot of information. So if you want to stay on top of everything that's going on a lot earlier than most people, y'all should definitely join up, man. I'm just letting everyone out there know that that's not in there. We need more people in there.
Chase, I appreciate the love, man. Appreciate the shout out and the. I'm glad you're in the Big Cock Club, my guy. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
All right, man. Well, take it easy.
All right, Chase. We'll talk soon, brother. Thank you so much. Great stuff from Chase. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. So Cocky Twan says 11-1 early prediction. I mean, listen, people were discussing. People were locking in 10-2 last year. So I expect the predictions to be all over the place. I expect the predictions to. I mean, listen, because if you were bold enough to lock in 10-2 last year, why would you not lock in something crazy this year? Let's jump to the phone line.
Call from
Chris.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Chris, man? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just calling, man, because I see all this on my Twitter feed, man, like, about what Clint Sucks is doing. I'm not. Why are we so concerned about what they're doing? I think that Shane Beamer's got this program rolling. We got Spencer back. We got Juice back. On 3 says that we're in a great position to get in the Cold Harbor. I mean, I think we're projected in a good place. I look for us to do big things. I think that we're going to challenge Georgia next year for the SEC East. And I love your show, man. I don't know, man. These Fox Gamecock fans get on my nerves, man. But anyway, man, I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Hey, I appreciate the call, my man. Thank you so much. I would say to the caller's point, again, it's if you're a fan of college football, it's a talking point. But certainly when you're a Gamecock fan, like what Clem Sucks is doing, I'm not saying that it's an integral part of our content, the show, and what we're doing, but it is a talking point. It is a talking point. You know what I mean? It is something interesting. It is something interesting to discuss. That's what it is, right? It is. I don't know how. Again, the beauty's in the banter, and the banter is not ignoring something because you don't like it. I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it is interesting. I think it's also interesting because we play them every year. Like, it's an interesting thing, right? And again, I think for Gamecock fans and for Clem Sucks fans to act like they don't have one eye on what the rival's doing because we're in direct competition. Everything between Carolina and Clem Sucks is a competition, guys. Everything. That's why Carolina fans care, because everything's a competition. Even if it's something that's, that doesn't directly affect us, but it's a competition, right? We do a blood drive every year competing against them, for goodness sakes. We compete so far beyond just on the field or on the court or on the diamond. And also it's because we also hired an OC. They hired an OC. We want to outdo them in everything. We want to outdo them in everything. Do you not? I mean, do you not? Realistically, do you not? So let's jump back to the phone lines here.
call from
Brian Lattimore.
Brian, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you tuning in. What's up?
So I wanted to hit on the last caller. You asked why we care so much about what Clemson's doing. I can answer that pretty quickly. And I don't know if people don't understand this, but the Carolina-Clemson rivalry is like one of the biggest non-conference games nationally. Clemson's a playoff team if we don't beat them this year. People don't understand that, right? So when Clemson makes moves like they just made, that's a big deal. You know, you've made it pretty clear, you know, that it's very underwhelming that we got Loggins, they got Garrett Riley. It sucks because you know, you can look at it from, you know, a very early standpoint. You don't know how it's going to play out, but on paper, you know, it's a fantastic hire for them. And it's really kind of just irked me over the last couple of days. You know, the people are just trying to downplay it to the point where it doesn't matter. It does matter. You know, that's our rival. And I think as Gamecock fans, we should hate seeing Clemson at the top. So whenever they're making, you know, home run hires like this, you know, at some point we want to make those home run hires too. You know, you can only, you know, roll the dice so many times and expect every single time for it to work out. Of course, I want Loggins to be a great hire too. But once again, we rolled the dice. We have no idea how this is going to pan out. We're just hoping that it's going to work out in our favor. So, you know, I've seen people, you know, use TCU's lack of success against Georgia as some sort of selling point. You know, oh, they only scored 7 points against Georgia. Like, how do you even compare, you know, TCU's roster versus Georgia, and, you know, as some sort of, you know, statistic on his resume, how to judge him? You know, I just think that's ridiculous. You know, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You put him in the Clemson offensive coordinator spot, they're going to be just as good as, if not better, than they ever have been, as long as they can get the recruits. So it may not be immediate. Like you said before, Cade Klubnik may just not be that guy. Or maybe with the right offensive coordinator, maybe he is that guy. You don't know. You don't know how it's going to pan out. But, you know, people just need to stop downplaying it. You know, Clemson made a home run hire, and it sucks as a Gamecock fan. It really stings.
On paper, hey, we're hoping that Riley does not turn out to be that guy. And again, I think it's taking nothing away from it's not taking anything away from South Carolina. And again, what we're doing, again, I do trust Shane Beamer, right? I said this when Loggins was hired because, hey, I wasn't thrilled. I ain't gonna sit here in front and tell you that I was. You know, you can go back, check the receipts. It's all there, right? I wasn't thrilled. I was perplexed. I thought in the hire, I still have that same energy going into the season that, you know, I'm optimistic because I trust Shane Beamer, and Shane Beamer has pushed all the right buttons. Everything he's done for the most part has worked, right, in his 2 seasons. But Loggins is a question mark. I mean, it's a huge, and what I'm hoping is going to be the case is we're going to look back in 5 years and say, you know what, Loggins was just never an NFL guy. That wasn't really his calling. It's apparent he's a college guy. He thrives at the college level. Arkansas people were extremely high on him, right? We had that Arkansas guy come on the show. Loved Dowell Loggins. Everybody you talked to had great things to say about Dowell Loggins. So I'm hopeful and optimistic that Loggins can cook, but his resume says otherwise. That's a fact. That's just, there's no denying it. It's just a fact. So, and I know that Shane Beamer, listen, I didn't talk to Jay Cutler. I didn't talk to Kyle Shanahan. I didn't talk to this coach and that coach and what have you. But from a fan perspective, I'm just going off what I see. At the end of the day, I trust Shane Beamer, and we're going to all let it play out. Obviously, we got no other choice. But, you know, I stand by my original point, which is just there was already pressure. There's immense pressure. We're Gamecocks. We have high expectations. There's always pressure. But the pressure just went up a degree at minimum. It just went up a degree. It's like, okay, because if they have a big year, we better have a big year offensively. That's all I'm saying. We better have a big year offensively. There's not a grace period. There's not, well, it's going to take a couple games. No, we got to hit the ground running from game one. We have to hit the ground running from game one, and Dowell Loggins has to show that he's that guy, right? Like we need to see it early on. We need to see it early on because we ignored early struggles with the Satterfield era, and it turned out to be exactly what we thought it was from the jump. So we need to see from the very beginning that it's different, right? So especially with the pieces you have back. But, you know, the hope is that they hit a home run with Riley and we hit a grand slam, and that, you know, with Loggins, and that Shane Beamer is the mad scientist behind the scenes. Again, it's not, I want to reiterate the point that Will made. I know that you're obviously making too, in the sense that nobody's doubting Shane Beamer in the direction of our program and the upward trajectory, and the fact that I think a lot of people are still going to be picking the Gamecocks to beat Clemson. I certainly am. But, yeah, it's just one of those things. You always want to outduel your rival. And you hate them. We hate them. We hate them. They hate us, right? So, of course, it matters. Yeah, now it'll just be interesting to see how it plays out.
So I'm gonna key in on this one specific point, more so on the Clemson side rather than our side. You know, there's that argument that's still out there. You know that what Clemson does has no effect on our program. You know, and that's a debatable topic, right? I don't know where you land on it. I know where I land on it. But bottom line is, you know, we could talk theoretical here. You know, let's look at this year for prime example. You know, we look at this year as a successful year. You know, we finished out really strong. What happens if you lose to Clemson? How do we feel about this year? Do we still feel it was a massive success because we blew out Tennessee? All of a sudden, now we're what? You know, 7-6. Do we still view it as a massive successful year? Maybe we lose to Clemson by a point. How do we feel now? I completely disagree with that topic. Beating Clemson is a necessity. I'm not saying that losing to Clemson makes it a bad year, but we are unfortunately in the situation where our rival is a nationally relevant team every single year. And it puts us in that much more of an important spot that we get to play spoiler every single year now. So we're fighting for top 25 relevancy. They're fighting for national championships. They're fighting for playoff spots. So yes, beating Clemson is a big deal. What they're doing on their side of the field is a big deal. We keep tabs on that for a reason, because whenever that game comes around at the end of the year, you know, that's what we're all looking forward to as fans. Hey, I'm tired of hearing about fucking Clemson fans, you know, talking shit to us. We need to go out there and beat those guys. We finally did that this year. We got to keep that going. And hires like this, I'm not saying that Dowell Loggins is a bad hire and Garrett Riley is a great hire. You know, but how it shakes up is going to be very important, you know, in the near future of these programs.
I would summarize it this way, Brian, to add to your point. Here's why I think people care. I know what winning 5 in a row felt like. I also know what losing 7 in a row felt like. And I know how good it felt to beat them this past season. Beating Clem sucks is not everything. It's not. To me, I'm not a believer in you go 1-11, your season was a success. I'm not a believer in that. I more so fall in the Steve Spurrier camp where you worry about beating the SEC, you worry about what's going on in your building, and beating them will take care of itself. But I think why people care is because, again, we're very familiar what it feels like to lose 7 in a row. We're also very familiar with how good this past November felt. People want to replicate this past November, right? Like, we want to make sure we're doing things to make that happen on a more frequent basis. So that's why people care. Absolutely. That's 110% why people care. Beating Clem sucks, in my opinion. Just beating them does not make your season a success, but you need to beat them more often than you lose to them. I would argue that. I think Shane Beamer's tenure, I mean, listen, let's say he's here 20 years. I mean, you win a couple. I mean, if you're winning the SEC, then you're taking care of business in that game. But I'm just saying, like, having a winning record against your rival matters. It does. To argue otherwise is again, it's foolish. I mean, you look at any other school, right? We've seen coaches at Auburn and Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State that did great things, but they couldn't beat the rival. And therefore, they were labeled as failures. And I know those are different because those are games that are in conference. But, I mean, to echo your point again, it's a big deal. With that being said, again, I don't want to over-exaggerate what an offensive coordinator hire means. And I trust Shane Beamer and trust what they're doing in their building. But it does add a little bit of a flair, I think, to the upcoming game in November. And maybe it'll mean nothing. If you beat them, it means nothing, right? But that's why people care, because we know what it feels like to lose to them. We know what it feels like to beat them. We'd like to beat them more often, right? So, Brian, I appreciate you, man. A fantastic call, and I think you hit a lot of great points, my friend.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. Hey, I just want to say, I don't want to over-exaggerate the OC hire either. I'll just be damned if I have to watch another Satterfield-like performance on the field. You know, that's what I hate to see. Dowell Loggins could be that guy. God, at least be competitive. I'll catch you next time, Chris. Appreciate you.
Brian, appreciate the call, man. Great stuff. Great stuff from our guy, Brian Lattimore. A lot of, I'm sure Brian will be responding to a lot of the comments in the chat, but, listen, that's a take. And I don't think it's doom and gloom. I think people are just, I think what it is, I'm certainly not coming from a place of doom and gloom. I'm just giving my thoughts, opinions, takes, or whatever on the hire, because I still feel like we're going to beat them. I don't think, Clem sucks isn't all of a sudden just going to go away. And other teams, right? Georgia, these other nobody's just going away. Nobody's going away. Like South Carolina, I think, needs to worry about what's going on in their building, continue to improve, continue to be the best possible team they can be, right? You know what I mean? Like but we speak from, we can worry about it, right? Like we're not just Gamecocks. We're fans of college football. We can speak on these topics, right? So it is interesting. It is a talking point. I think it's worth conversation, and certainly conversation we are having. Again, 843-790-337. Some of you guys would love to continue to hear your thoughts, your reactions. Switching things up a bit, of course, on the basketball side of things, Gamecocks will take on Texas A&M this weekend. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tip-off at the CLA. South Carolina, fun fact, has won 6 games in a row against the Aggies. So Buzz Williams will bring his squad into the CLA. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a great game. By the way, I just saw something on my Twitter feed. You know what I have not had in a while? I have not had some good barbecue in a while. If you got any good barbecue suggestions for Greenville, let me know. I have not had some. I miss Palmetto Pig, man. I will say I miss that about Columbia. Let's jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
Robert.
Robert, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Chris. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
I'll be honest with you, Chris. I'm tired of hearing about this Garrett Riley hire. I want to hear about them yard cocks. What you got on them?
Yeah, I've even got the Yardcocks hat on today. We'll start. So here's the exciting thing. We'll start breaking down baseball Monday. We're going to do the position unit preview stuff and go through, talk everything, starting pitchers, relievers. We'll go around the diamond, break down the team. And, Tuesday's 1 month till opening day. So I won't lock in like a season prediction until the week of opening day. But, and I feel like it's kind of a no-duh take to say, well, we're going to be better than last year because we were terrible. But I think this team, it's going to come down to hitting. I mean, that's a Mark Kingston coach ball club, right? If we can hit, I realistically believe we have the arms to make some serious noise. I mean, I think we've got studs, from guys I've talked to behind the scenes. I think we could have a top 3 or 4 pitching staff in the SEC, which when you think about how deep the SEC is, that's a very big deal. So, you got to get the bats. You got a lot of new faces, transfer guys, and it's just got to all come together swinging the stick. That's it. So,
yeah, the pitching's there.
Yeah,
the bats. They I don't know what they brought in, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
I don't think Kingston's the guy.
And that's a very fair take. I mean, I think that obviously what the hope is that Monty Lee will somehow be what was the missing piece, you know what I mean? And that he will make a difference. But, I think that, in baseball, it's a very long season, right? So losing one series or what have you, it doesn't define your year. But I think as we all saw last year, there's a bit of a snowball effect that can occur. And it especially occurs when, you lose midweek games and you're just losing games that you shouldn't lose, right? And so I think we're going to know pretty quickly. I think we're going to know pretty quickly what this team is like. Like, I think it's, I try to not over exaggerate or try to not overreact early in the season when you're playing non-conference series. It's like, hey, it's early on, it's cold, the hitting's always going to be behind the pitching, the bats need time to get going. There's not a whole lot of that for me coming this spring. Like you've got UMass Lowell, you've got Penn, Clem sucks, of course, and then Bethune Cookman.
Yeah.
Like you need to rake non-conference pitching. You do. If you're coming out of the non-conference hitting like 250, that's a bad sign. That's a really because we all know, man, that the competition's only going to dramatically increase. So, this team needs to be hitting like This team needs to be hitting 350 plus coming out of non-conference play. I really believe that. So
For sure. For sure. Well, that's all I had, Chris.
well, I appreciate I
Well, you
appreciate it,
have a
man.
good
Trust
day.
me. I appreciate all the baseball questions. I'm excited to dive more into baseball, man, as we get closer. So
No problem. You have a good day.
yeah, man. You too. Take care. Appreciate it. Great stuff. And I appreciate him switching up the conversation. Listen, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse or overdo the chatter on the Garrett Riley thing. If you guys want to talk something else, we can. We had a question from Madison. The golf scores from yesterday, about mid 80s to low 90s within the group. It's funny. Like and whatever, you guys can think whatever. When I go play golf, when I just casually go play, I don't even really keep score, to be honest. I had a hell of a 4-hole stretch yesterday where I think I went birdie, par, just was like crushing it. Had an eagle putt on that 3rd hole. Was swinging it as well as I did all day. Back 9 was really, inconsistency. I need to play more, bottom line. All right, let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Tommy.
Tommy, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Christopher. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. What's going on?
I was just wondering when you're going to hop off the Clemson train and start worrying about the Gamecocks.
We worry about the Gamecocks every day, my friend. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Not
What
from
are
what
you
this
worried
stream
about?
it sound like. I'm just wondering when you're going to hop off the Clemson train.
Hop off the Clemson train. Well, I picked South Carolina to beat Clemson, so I would say I'm pretty well on the Shane Beamer South Carolina train.
Okay, I got you. I got one more question for you, Chris.
What's up?
How much Just for Men's do you go through a year?
I go through about a pack a week. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hey,
Makes sense.
Spot,
All right,
it's-
Chris. Have a good one, brother.
Yeah, man. Pipe down, Slapdick. Great stuff. Great call from my guy from Camden, South Carolina. Love that. Love that. Love that. The Just for Men thing. I've thought about putting like a box of Just for Men in the background just to mess with people. The amount of insecure men that are on social media, it's baffling. It's baffling for sure. So if you can't grow a beard, just say that. Let's jump back to the phone lines here.
Call from
Hunter.
Hunter, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. What about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm trying to prove a point here. Is Jordan Birch his last season, his first season playing, or was he playing those last 3 seasons?
Jordan Birch's freshman season was 2020. So he's been playing for a
2020.
couple.
Okay, so yeah, I was arguing with the Tennessee fans. I'm getting sick and tired of them. So I mean, he kept saying like, oh yeah, Jordan Birch was his first season playing under Beamer, and I don't know. He says like 3.5 stacks for the last 3 years is good. I don't think it is, but I don't know.
I mean, Oregon seems pretty excited to have picked him up, but yeah, wish him well and keep it moving, and is what it is. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I was just trying to prove a point. That's all.
No, I mean, again, it would have been great to have him back. Do I think we lost some all-conference, all-American player? And, it's funny that I think, I caught some grief before the season about my commentary about Jordan Birch. My commentary about Jordan Birch for the season, it was nothing but fair. All it was applying pressure that, hey, like, his statistics haven't been great through 2 years, and he needs to step it up in year 3. And I thought he had a better season. I thought he did, and I gave him credit for that after the season. But I'm not going to sit here and act like we lost some all-conference, all-American player. I think it's more of a shame that we lost a guy that is, from all accounts, chasing the bag at Oregon and has, destroyed any sense of legacy he would have had at Carolina. But it is what it is, and guys don't care about that, and it's about feeding. I get it's about feeding your family. We don't know his situation, and so, hey, I wish him the best.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, he just kept saying like,
Clemson's going to do very well in the new offense. I mean, yeah, they might have struggle in 3 games or something. I think they think they're going to figure it out and all that kind of crap under Riley. And he obviously thinks that we're not going to do good with Logan. So, it's obviously from a Tennessee fan.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Birch. I probably won't be following his career a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, wish him nothing but the best, truly.
Yeah, no, sure. I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate the call, my dude. Take care.
No problem.
Awesome stuff. Appreciate Hunter calling in. Again, guys, we're rocking, we're rolling. We're going to go ahead and jump into our first break. On the other side, though, I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. What's up, guys? Appreciate you all tuning in, taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. Let's see. Let's get back into your comments. Alex Heil, what's up? What's up? Let's see. A lot of the Gavin said, really enjoyed your podcast with Taylor. Need more of that guy. Yeah, Gavin, that was a little bit of a different conversation. I'm glad you appreciated it. One of the reasons that TSUS works so well, I have a passion for the Gamecocks, a passion for sports, a passion for creating content, but also I have a passion for business. Like I love being a business owner. I love the business of, TSUS and what we do and building something and constructing something and growing something. And so, bringing people on like Taylor, it's different, obviously, because he doesn't talk sports for a living, but he does create content for a living in a sense, right? And so bringing on different people from different walks of life, they don't have to be Gamecocks, they don't have to talk sports. You notice in that conversation, we didn't spend a whole lot of time, right, talking sports, or talking Gamecocks, if you will. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in, and had a great time chatting with Taylor. Somebody asked, Chris Flick says, Seafield, did you drop 68 at Sea Pines? Not quite, my guy. I tell you what, I really need to upgrade my equipment. I've been hitting the same Mizuno irons, which I love those clubs, but I really need to completely overhaul my equipment. To overhaul my game. So anyways, but no, I mean, I'm not blaming the clubs, obviously, but swung them okay. We had a good time, but the consistency just wasn't quite there. Let's see. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. Alex Heil asks, how did Gamecocks basketball fall to Tennessee and then beat Kentucky on the road? That's a great question, my friend. Very Gamecock thing to do, eh? Very, very Gamecock thing to do indeed. I don't know. Very Gamecock thing to do indeed. Of course, guys, South Carolina returns home tomorrow, takes on the Texas A&M Aggies at Colonial Life Arena. I'm locked in with a 74-69 prediction. I do have Texas A&M getting the W. I think it's going to be really tough for South Carolina to build off of that Kentucky win. How does this team handle prosperity? How do they handle a big win like that? I think that's what's going to be really interesting tomorrow. Are you able to build off of it and not have, I think, the letdown game that most of us are expecting tomorrow night? Also, South Carolina has beaten Texas A&M 6 times in a row. So, Buzz Williams is going to have his team prepared, ready to go. Certainly, they want to break that streak. But you've got them at home, 6 o'clock tip-off at the CLA. Game, I think, is televised on SEC Network, I believe. So, going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait for it. And, guys, also cannot wait to talk baseball next week. The baseball content begins on Monday. Our position unit preview series gets going. We'll kick it off with starting pitchers on Monday, then talk relievers on Thursday, and we will go through it, go around the diamond as we count down the days till first pitch, count down the days to opening day. Of course, Tuesday is 1 month from opening day. Really excited and really looking forward to it. Tyler Knoll says, no matter how everyone wants to spin it, Clem sucks hiring Riley as a home run. With that said, let's let Loggins cook, and when we take care of business next year, it won't matter. Yeah, exactly, Tyler. That's exactly where I fall in as well. Again, you can acknowledge that the Garrett Riley thing, it's a home run hire for them. We are competitive, right? We want to beat them in everything. So it kind of stings a bit that they got him. However, as long as we beat them on November the 25th, it ain't going to matter, right? It's not going to matter. So, but it'll be interesting. I will be very intrigued to see how that plays out there. Hudson makes the point. I can't grow a beard, and I only have 3 chest hairs. I counted. Great to know, Hudson. Great to know. Also, guys, really excited today to announce that we'll be chatting with Girls in the Game, the podcast. We'll be chatting with them right after the show today. Not exactly sure when that conversation will drop, but Girls in the Game, asked me if I wanted to come on, which obviously it was an immediate yes. And we'll be talking Gamecocks, talking TSUS, talking business. It's going to be a lot of fun. I always look forward to conversations like that. So really appreciate them for having me and looking forward to the combo, like I said, this afternoon. So Alex Heil, any new 2023 swag in Florence at Rivals? Headed there later today on my way to Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, Alex, definitely stop by. We've got all of our latest merchandise in there. Also, guys, this is going to be a big weekend in regards to working on merch. Like I've told you all, the Beamer Rattler 23 merch is on the way. Also, I'm going to be basically relaunching our baseball merchandise, right? We got a lot of baseball merchandise, the Kiss the Rings merch, Yardcocks baseball, going to be redoing and recreating our Win Anyway merch. We've got our Oot merch. We've got all kinds of merchandise on the baseball side of things. Going to be recreating that and putting that on comfort colors, long sleeves, hoodies, everything you need for the baseball season. So really, really excited to get that going. As again, we count down the days to Baseball Tuesday. Will be exactly 1 month away from first pitch. Looking forward to it. Nick Stedman says, I remember when Chad Morris was a home run hire, then proceeded to beat them repeatedly. Hey, very good point. It might turn out exactly that way, right? It might turn out exactly that way. Anyways, guys, want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, and your calls. Let's see. Jeff Gullich, Chris, do you think Lavoisier Carroll's going to the running back number 1 going into the season? I tend to think that we're going to pick up somebody at running back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we should, we should have a lot of competition at that position. So I would say, though, running back is a position we need to grab a guy in the portal. And I know we were going after the kid from Utah, and I think some things happened. I don't think he's going to be coming here anymore, but I would expect us to grab a running back out of the transfer portal. I would fully expect us to do so. John Edwards says, I need to get another baseball shirt. Only have one. Yeah, I also forgot the Road to Omaha shirt. So I'll be re-upping myself on the baseball merchandise. I love it. I think our baseball merchandise is high-key slept on, guys. I'll be honest with you, but that's just me. Anyways, let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Tommy.
Tommy, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed. I appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I don't know that him firing Streeter and hiring that Derek Riley's going to do him any good. Didn't look that great against Georgia in the playoff.
Well, he didn't look great against Georgia, but they were in the national championship, to be fair. So, I mean, we'll see. Listen, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. I think it strictly comes from, again, the selfish desires. I mean, I'm talking, of course, the reaction of South Carolina fans. I think it comes from the selfish desires of, like, most people wanted Garrett Riley. But, hey, we trust Shane Beamer. We trust his decision-making. None of that changes here on this Friday, and I'm confident in Gamecocks football moving forward. None of that has changed.
They were playing behind for 3 or 4 of them games they won. They had to come back to win them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, TCU had a magical season, but obviously it's they were no match for the Georgia Bulldogs. That's for sure.
They weren't much of a match for Michigan. Although they had, like I said, they had to come back from losing to win those games, and just by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, they had a crazy year, man. They had a crazy year how it played out. So.
Yeah, they had a lot of darn luck to what they had.
Yeah, a lot of luck too. Hey, listen, you need some good fortune to go play for a championship. So, I'd take a South Carolina year right now where it was like, well, they had to do that. Hey, don't matter, we won. So I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, we beat Clemson. They didn't beat Georgia.
Indeed, that is very true.
So I don't know. I think Dabo just trying to cover his butt because he used to winning all those national championships, and he's on the downturn, and we're on the upturn.
I'd like to think so, my friend. And hey, if you want to solidify that opinion you just made, Go beat them again. Because now I think now I think the expectation should be to beat them at home. That should absolutely be the expectation. You got them on your home field with Rattler and Wells back. You shouldn't lose to them. Bottom line, you shouldn't lose to them.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see one of them 65-38 games against Clemson, like we did Tennessee.
I'd like to see it too. I
think we're capable of it.
I'd like to think so as well. So, I mean, we got a long way to go before that. And, you know, there's a lot of football to be played before that. But like I said, man, I'm confident. I'm comfortable where our program is right now. You know, I think the caller that called in earlier that, you know, it's not about being on Clemson's jock or talking a bunch of Clemson stuff, being on the Clemson train. You know, if you're made insecure by the fact we're just even having the conversation, then you can just say that. But it is a talking point. But in the same breath, I would tell you that, again, I'm confident in the direction that we're going, and I'm literally picking South Carolina to beat Clemson this season. So obviously I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but to insinuate that that's anything other than a Grand Slam hire, I think is just, it's naive, it's foolish, it's ignorant. I think you're just trying to discredit what the rival's doing, which I understand. But it can be they hit a home run in their OC hire. That also doesn't mean they're going to beat us. I put it that way. So I think that's a very fair.
I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say they hit a home run yet until he proves himself. Because, like I said, they were playing a lot of games from behind last year, and they just had one of those lucky seasons. So I'm not sure if he did anything or not until they can prove it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you might have a great point, my friend. He might not be all that.
And I've got a peed with Carolina fans all the time. Negative. They wonder why all these people are leaving the program. All that crap they talk all the time instead of trying to talk our team up when we're growing. They think you come in the first year and you're going to take and win the national championship or something. You got to build a team. You can't just take and go along with that crap they talk all the time about we lost because of this and this and this. You have to get players, and kicking the players you got don't help get new players.
Very good point. Very good point indeed.
Well, you ought to be, if you're for a team, you should be for them. You shouldn't be against them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose. That's bad to lose, but it's a game. I'll talk with you after a while.
It is a game indeed. Tommy, I appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think everybody wants the same thing, and, you know, we might all have different opinions of how to get there and the amount of pressure that should be applied. But at the end of the day, that's the interesting thing, right, is that, I mean, there are people within the Gamecocks fan base that hate each other. I mean, truly hate each other. There are people that loathe me. I mean, they'd rather see me drive off in a ditch somewhere. And that's not over exaggerating. I think there's really people out there, they'd love to take a swing at me. That's for damn sure. And it's crazy. It's crazy because we all pull for the same team. When South Carolina wins, we are all joyous the same exact way. That's what's crazy to me. Anyways, yeah, I think there's a lot of options in the portal. I think we are, I think we're going to go to the portal to get a running back. So Austin Gersh says Clemson's going to be very good next year. Got them seriously in the national championship against Georgia. Whew, Austin, I think I think Garrett Riley's a pretty capable OC too. That feels a little aggressive, my guy. That feels a little aggressive. I mean, what about, dude, they still got to play Notre Dame. What about Notre Dame? What about Florida State? What about South Carolina? Yeah, Connor Lee, that's one of the things I would disagree with Tommy on, is Tommy sort of just wrote off TCU in their season, how lucky they got. Connor Lee says, geez, give them a little bit of credit. I mean, we've gotten lucky at some points over the past 2 seasons. Think about ECU and Vandy last year. This year, you could say we got lucky that Kentucky did not have Levis. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, Connor, I'd agree with you. You can't just discredit victories here and there just to make it fit your narrative. You know what I mean? I agree with you 110%. Yeah. Yes, Bruin Nation, I believe they are playing Notre Dame again. Obviously it's at home, but they are playing Notre Dame again. So, Austin Greer says Garrett Riley is the best OC in the country. Easily. Oh, man. Brendan M's about to run through a wall, bro. Brendan M's about to go off. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. Hey, when people ask me, hey, why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about that? Guys, you guys control this show. Y'all want to talk about something else? Bring it up. Let's go. Bring it up. Let's go. Let's see. Luke RJ made the point in the Discord that my beard is looking dark today. Luke RJ, I would tell you this. It feels good to be good, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. What can I say? I'm blessed. Let's see. Cody says Dabo's playing a good old game of keep up with the Joneses right now. He's behind the game in NIL. He's behind the game on the transfer portal. I think they're in a dicey territory right now. Time for Dabo to get with the times or get left. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Again, I would say this. It was a home run hire for them, great hire. It doesn't, most importantly, it does not change the fact that we are all confident in the direction South Carolina football is going. Hey, we got our quarterback back. We got Juice Wells back. Like, we're in a great spot. We're in a great spot. I made this point. Let's move on to something else because there is a point I wanted to make today. I made this point briefly on Wednesday. It was actually included in the in the clip that I posted this morning, just talking about the pressure going into the 2023 season and what have you. But and here's a really interesting stat our good friend Nick made on Twitter. He said South Carolina has led the SEC in offensive turnovers 2 years in a row and has found a way to still win 15 games. You know the special teams and defense will be opportunistic and force turnovers. If offense can cut the number of turnovers in half and find a consistent running game, the sky's the limit. That's a great point. Led the SEC in offensive turnovers 2 years in a row. That's crazy. And you think about the fact we've won 15 games for 2 years. Doing that, that's crazy when you think about it. Pretty wild. But I briefly touched on this point this morning when talking about the upcoming seasons and the pressures. You know, we spend so much time talking about the offense and Dowell Loggins, and, you know, you got to get the offense going, and, you know, we got to hit the ground running, and certainly we need to. When you look at that first half of the season and that schedule that is, I mean, it's a gauntlet, right, in the first 6-7 games of the year. But there's a lot of pressure, in my opinion. I think this is a massive year for Clayton White. This is a massive year for Jimmy Lindsey, for Sterling Lucas, to get that defense fixed, to get that run defense specifically, right? I mean, 190-plus yards per game you surrendered on the ground. I think that defense, and I understand you lose some pieces. You've got to reload up front. You got to reload in the secondary. You're upgrading the linebacker position. But Clayton White sort of got the benefit of the doubt after year one because his unit massively overachieved because the expectations for the defense in 2021 were abysmally low after 2020, a historically bad defensive unit. This year, right, I think he's a guy that continues to get the benefit of the doubt, but I think you need to see something in 2023, man. I think it's a huge year for Clayton White. I think if you see that defense struggle again, I think especially if you see that run defense struggle again, I think there's a chance Clayton White, Jimmy Lindsey especially, starts to feel the heat. So there's always pressure, right? It's the SEC, it's South Carolina football. We're all passionate about it. We all apply pressure, and I believe in applying pressure. But I think this is a big year for the defense to make positive strides, take steps forward. Yes, you're having to replace a lot of guys, but you've got a lot of talented players, especially you're going to continue to hit the portal. I think you're going to be able to plug holes in the transfer portal. I think it is a huge, huge season upcoming, a year in which we're all talking Dowell Loggins. We're all talking Spencer Rattler, Juice Wells, what the offense is going to do. I'm going to have a very, very close eye on that defense and what type of season they have, especially up front in the trenches. And are they able to stop the run more consistently in 2023? Big, big year for Clayton White upcoming. So, I think, again, plugging up the run game, giving us a chance. And, hey, the offense has got to do their part too. The offense has to do their part in not putting the defense in bad situations, not keeping them on the field, what have you. But there's got to be some positive strides made defensively. I mean, I know our good buddy P-Dog. He loves to give Clayton White hell more than anybody. I mean, really, truly, because, you look at the statistics and, I mean, I don't know. It's been a mixed bag. I think to call it anything other than a mixed bag at this point for Clayton White is but again, it's interesting how Clayton White gets the benefit of the doubt. He really does. And I think part of it's because, the game is offensive now. I think there's actually less pressure on defensive coordinators because it's all about offense, right? You're not expected to be an elite defense anymore. So let's jump back to the phone lines here.
Call from
Connor.
Connor, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I was just calling, maybe shifting gears a little bit. Do you think the Kentucky basketball game, do you think that was just a fluke, or you think we got a chance to kind of get the ball rolling with some positive momentum? Like, looking at our schedule, we got A&M and Ole Miss coming up next. So maybe 2 games you can possibly string together, get a little 3-game win streak going. And then you got Auburn at home, so who knows what can happen. But I'll take you off the air. Appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate the call, my friend. I hate to call that win at Rupp Arena a fluke, right? I hate to take anything away from Lamont Paris and that basketball team, but do I think that and Kentucky's got their own issues, right? I mean, they're going through it, right? They're going through it. But do I think all of a sudden this is even an NIT team? No, I do not. I don't think so. We talked about it before the season that I feel like, this is a team that has some talented pieces, lacks depth. We knew that was going to be a real concern and a real issue this season. But it wasn't going to surprise me if you were able to, pull a big upset here or there. But realistically, do I think it's a sign that we're about to go on a run and win, 4 or 5 games in a row and be something that we probably were never going to be? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I will say I think it shows that there's some potential on this team, and maybe we can be a little bit better than we thought. But, I think winning probably 6 SEC games is probably the ceiling. I just think depth, man. I mean, if we had depth, we've got a pretty decent starting 5. If we had depth, I mean, Gigi Jackson, Michi Johnson, Chico Carter, Hayden, we've got some pieces, but we just have no depth whatsoever. So maybe it can serve as a spark, though. Again, you make a great point. You got a 3-game home stretch upcoming. Starts with Texas A&M on Saturday. You got a chance to get a couple of wins. You still play Georgia. You play Vandy again at home. Maybe you can get something going. But, I don't think it doesn't really change. It doesn't really change my outlook on the season as a whole. It doesn't change my outlook on the season as a whole, truly. So, anyways, guys, let's jump into another break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Here on this Friday the 13th. Are you guys big believers in Friday the 13th? I've never gave a damn, to be honest with you. It's never moved the needle for me or anything. So are you guys does Friday the 13th do anything for you? I mean, I don't know. I'm just not yeah. Anyways. Monday, January the 16th, by the way, MLK Day. So I'm sure. So how many of y'all have Monday off? Anybody got Monday off? Is that I honestly don't recall if that's a holiday that people get off. I don't think it is. I don't think. I think schools are out. I think schools are out. But anyways. Guys, 843-790-3377. Travis says we need a badass defensive end and some linebackers. Yeah. I mean, I think continuing to bolster those, Travis, yes, I think absolutely. Continue to bolster those spots is of utmost importance, no doubt. It's of utmost importance. So, yep. Guys, there's a chance, I'm not saying for sure, but there's a chance we might be reorganizing the studio a little bit here over the next I don't know, a couple of weeks. I just loved the vibe. I loved the vibe in the cigar lounge, sitting back, chilling. Like I loved that. I loved that. It's a different vibe, right? I loved that. We might play around with the setup here in the next couple weeks. I don't know. Anyways, let's jump back to the phone lines.
Call from.
Justin.
At any time, you may.
Crap. Justin, call back in, my guy. I clicked the wrong button. Justin, call back in. Gosh, I apologize. I literally clicked 2 instead of 1. My bad. Call back in, Justin. Call back in. Let's see. Taste just says he's happy it's Friday. He don't give a damn. I love that. Yeah. Friday the 13th just doesn't do it. Here we go. Let's get Justin on the line. That's my bad.
Call from.
Justin.
Justin, my friend, what's going on?
Hey,
How are you?
Not much. Hey, Chris, I feel good today because it's been well done since White Kentucky. I'm so glad because it's a tough place to win, right, Chris?
Yeah, we've only won there 3 times now in our school's history. So huge win. What a place for Lamont Paris to get his first SEC win.
Oh yeah, and Chris, the thing about Frank Martin, he didn't want Kentucky. It's strange. Must say that one Kentucky. It's bumping that one, you know.
Yep, Frank Martin never won at Kentucky. You are correct. Lamont Paris doing things that Frank Martin could never do. And the Frank Martin stands are about to flood our comments.
Oh, yeah, Chris. And Chris, we know Frank Martin, if you go back, he has some good teams, but they just can't get on the hump, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I got Smith White coming back too, Chris. That's a huge one too,
Yeah,
because
that's big
Chris,
time, man. That's big time.
Yeah, because who else we gonna get if he was gonna leave? You know, because I don't know who.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it would have been one of the guys on our roster, right? Which, you know, I'm not saying we'd have been a terrible team, obviously, but you know, obviously it changes the complexion of the 2023 season. To insinuate otherwise is crazy.
Oh yeah, and Chris, the thing about it is that's not me. That's not me. Pass on Corvus and Chessboard these days, is it?
No, yeah, there's not a lot of those guys floating around. So I mean, again, I think you've got really capable guys on your roster, but you know, again, it's a big deal to get Spencer Rattler back, and excited to see what he does this season.
Oh yeah, me too, Chris. And the other news is, man, Chris, I can't believe Chris hired Garrett Wiley, and that shocked me a little bit, you know.
Yeah, that was surprising. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming at all. But anyways, you know, it's I'm still confident what Shane. It changes nothing about how I feel about Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks and what we've got going on. Yeah, we're still in a great position, and I think we'll show that this fall with another great year. I really do.
Yeah, me too, Chris. And Chris, I'm not scared, Chris, because here's the thing. If you look at TCU's offense, look what George did to the offense, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, because look, I wish Carolina done better, but man, Clemson. I don't know, Clemson gonna be like TCU, but that's the way she thing, right, Chris?
Indeed. Yeah, we'll be fine, my guy. We'll be fine.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be fine. And Chris, I got here, man. This trap playoff team's gonna be coming soon, right, Chris?
For the NFL?
I mean, the college football playoff track team.
Oh, the college football playoff. Yeah, 12 teams will be coming soon. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, and Chris, maybe Sockeye can sneak in there because here's the thing: if you can sneak in there, you can. And Chris, we know Georgia they're gonna be in there, right, Chris?
They're going to be in there. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Georgia's going to be in the playoff damn near every year. Yeah, basically every year.
Oh yeah, and Chris, if we stick in there, that would be interesting, right? Because we'll be lucky, right, Chris?
Yeah, I mean it gives us a better opportunity to sneak in the playoff for sure. So I'm all for it. From the Gamecock perspective. I'm all for the expanded playoff.
Yeah, because look at Alabama. Alabama fans will have bitch and more, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, how going, my friend?
Yeah, man. Hey, have a great weekend. I appreciate you.
You right, go?
Yeah, man.
Go Gamecocks.
Yes, sir. Go Gamecocks. Always a pleasure chatting with you, Justin. Take care. Great stuff from my man, Justin. Coach Ford, I need to hear your thoughts. I need to hear Coach Ford's thoughts. All right. He says, trust in Beamer and Loggins. Now, I know, Coach Ford. I know what you're doing. I know you're being a sarcastic son of a bitch. Coach Ford, I want to really know your thoughts and what you think. I want to know, Coach Ford. Because I know Garrett Riley was someone Coach Ford wanted. And I'd be willing to bet you Coach Ford felt some type of way when he saw the news. I'd be willing to bet. So, Billy Thompson, do you think game day will be at North Carolina, South Carolina week 1? No, I do not. I would imagine, no. I don't know what exactly other games are taking place, but no, I think there'll be a different game for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd love it. It'd be sick. It'd be dope. But no, I don't think so. Now, will game day be at South Carolina, Georgia week 3 if we're able to beat UNC week 1? I think there's a shot. I think there's a chance. I'd love to see it. I think that'd be incredible. All right, let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Dave Garrett.
Dave, what is up, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing well. How was the golf at Hilton Head?
Oh, it was fantastic. Weather was perfect yesterday. The course was beautiful. Company was incredible. And, yeah, I had a great time, man. I appreciate you asking. Hilton Head's always a blast and looking forward to getting down there many, many more times.
Nice. I thought it was kind of funny that that nobody ever stated that Clemson had asked permission to talk to Riley. It seemed the way it happened seemed like it was in the works for a while. Just Streeter didn't know. It just sounded strange because usually they'll announce that one school granted permission for them to talk to a member of their staff, and that just came out of left field. While on the surface it appears that a lot of Carolina fans are pissed off because Clemson seemed to they're looking at it as one up, and I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at the return of Wells and Rattler shows a vote of confidence for Loggins. And still, we don't have nothing to really lose this season. We got everything to gain. I think that just a rough prediction. I'm thinking 9-3 also. I'll shoot you a text off the air because I got to get with you on something. But have a good weekend, my friend, and talk to you next week.
Dave, always a pleasure to hear from you, my friend. Thank you so much for calling in. Yeah, great stuff from Dave. And, yeah, I mean, it's I will say to his point, Spencer Rattler, Juice Wells, vote of confidence for Dowell Loggins. the only my only rebuttal to that is Spencer Rattler came to South Carolina vote of confidence for Marcus Satterfield, and that did not work out. So yeah. I mean, I don't know how much that really means. Here we go. Coach Ford says the pressure's on, especially following the arrogant way he introduced Sloggins. Side-by-side comparison in our faces every week. We have beaten Tater Tech and are as competitive as we have been in a decade. Better win after that PC performance and questionable selection face-to-face with, quote-unquote, the big name he so arrogantly referenced. Interesting. And I see Brendan. I see you in the Big Cock Club Discord talking about the way that it went down. And I am not sitting here today like, let me go defend Dabo Swinney, but it didn't really move the needle for me how they hired Garrett Riley and fired their previous OC. I mean, dude, they've been calling for Streeter's job for months, and it's not like it's something that, you know what I mean? It's yeah. So. I mean, if they knew for weeks that they were going to make the decision after the season, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about it, but I normally, like, I'm so quick to bash and to shit on Dabo. That doesn't really move the needle for me. So anyways, Tyler Noel says 9-3, very realistic. 10-2 is more than obtainable. I don't see us losing to anyone but Georgia and Tennessee until we beat Mizzou. I think it's got to be considered a toss-up. Yeah, some guys, my way too early predictions. We haven't even really talked about them. I had 9-3. And I had that loss to Mizzou. And I would just say that, and I said this in the podcast, I think we should beat Mizzou. You think we should beat Mizzou. Everybody believes we should beat Missouri. And I felt like last year there was no way we were losing to them. None. There was no way. And yet we did. And yet we have for 4 years in a row. And yet Eli Drinkwitz has beaten us 5 years in a row. Something's got to give, man. It's almost more of it's not even a Mizzou thing at this point. It's an Eli Drinkwitz thing at this point. And I hate losing to that dweeb, but he owns South Carolina. Eli Drinkwitz at this moment, Eli Drinkwitz owns South Carolina. We have to change that. He does, though. He does. What can you say? He's beaten the Gamecocks 5 in a row. What can you say? What can we say? Anyways, Brendan M says, I think Chris needs to shave the beard if we lose to the dweeb again. Brendan, no. Brendan, yes, I said it was only 4 in a row, but Eli Drinkwitz has beaten South Carolina 5 in a row. I said 4. I said 4 in a row. But Eli Drinkwitz was at Appalachian State, you might recall, in 2019 when they came into Williams-Brice Stadium and beat Will Muschamp's Gamecocks. So Drinkwitz has beaten the Gamecocks 5 in a row. Coach Ford says, love the blank expression of my take. Yeah. So is it 4-4 then? Okay, so maybe you're right. Mizzou has... Okay, then yeah, you're right. Okay. Then there's 2 4-game losing streaks. Mizzou has beaten the Gamecocks 4 in a row. Drinkwitz has beaten the Gamecocks 4 in a row. Okay. He's okay, that's what it is. He's 3-0 at Missouri against South Carolina. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. Because Barry Odom was their head coach in 2019 when they won 34-14. Yeah, Barry Odom. What a guy. Get this. Our head coach in 2020 when they beat us was Mike Bobo. You might recall. That was, I believe, his first game with the interim head coach. Yeah. That's right. Drinkwitz was at NC State in 2018. We also beat them in that year. So, yeah, because I was at that game. No, excuse me. That was the 2017 season, the season opener. That was a fun season opener, too. One of the better games. Anyways, guys. 843-790-3377. Bruin Nation said we need Martin from East Tennessee to call in and lighten the mood. What's wrong with the mood? I think there's nothing wrong today. I feel great. Brian Dean, baseball's around the corner. Indeed. I feel great. I mean, I don't have a problem at all today. Rival Sports. What's up, my guy? Rival Sports Art. What's up, man? He says we should do a collab, put that Beamer Ball to the Moon art on a t-shirt for the 2023 season. Seems like there was an interest from several people. Hold on, which? Oh, the one that you drew. I mean, dude, I'd be game. Let's do it. Why not? I'd be game. I think that's a great idea. I think that'd be really, really cool. Coach Ford says, what's the story on the stick in the corner behind you? Yeah, so this stick has Gamecocks painted on it. Somebody made it, and it's painted all up and down. And when I lived in Columbia, somebody gave it to me, and I don't know. I just threw it in the corner of the room. So I know that's kind of an interesting piece in the studio, but yeah. So that's why. Eric Fryer, what's up, my guy? He says, lost to App State. Ryan Linsky open throws a wide open Brian Edwards on the last play for the winning touchdown. Yeah, that's brutal. And I remember that was one of, you talk about some cold takes, and I've had some cold takes. I've missed on predictions. You look back at that game, and if you were listening way back when, right, in 2019, I actually said going into that game that South Carolina, we have the advantage in the trenches. We're gonna push them around, bully them around. At the end of the day, we'll take care of our business and what have you. So, I was completely wrong. So. David Amara, here's a random question. Who do you think is the GOAT wide receiver in Carolina history? Alshon or Sidney Rice? And you know what's fun about this is that, over the course of June, which I hope this is not the case because hopefully we're playing baseball in the month of June this year. But last year, of course, we were not. And so we did our top 5 rankings for every single position, whatever, in South Carolina football history. And so when it comes to wide receivers, I listed Alshon number 1, Sidney number 2. I will say this, though. If Sidney Rice played one more year of college football, he would easily, in my opinion, be the best of all time. I think so. And I know a lot of old heads, a lot of older Gamecocks, they're going to say Sterling Sharp number 1. Hey, that's fair. I didn't get to watch Sterling Sharp in person. I think Alshon, when you factor in the numbers, but also the big-time plays that he made, right? The teams he played on and what he helped South Carolina do, I think Alshon's the GOAT. I think Alshon's the greatest of all time. I think, again, though, Sidney Rice, to me, was the biggest cheat code in South Carolina football history. Like he was the ultimate one-on-one matchup nightmare guy in the sense of you just throw it up to him, he's going to make the catch, like every single time. And Alshon certainly was on better teams. But, again, if Sidney Rice plays one more year, he's the GOAT, and it's not even debatable, in my opinion. I mean, truly. So, but it's a fun debate, right? Because, I mean, we're talking about the greatest in school history, and these guys were absolutely incredible. Luke RJ says, it feels like this show's gone by so slow today. Well, Luke RJ, give us a call. Speed it up, my guy. What do you got? Frank says 232 days until game 1, September the 2nd in Charlotte. See, Youngblood says Brian Edwards over Debo. I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, dude, Brian Edwards, the all-time receiving yards leader in school history. Brian Dean says Drake May versus Spencer Rattler. Heck of an early season matchup. Yeah, it's a great quarterback game. One of the better quarterback matchups of the season. Travis Allen says, just got to get rid of them green high tops. Travis Allen, if you don't have drip, just say that. No, I love my green ones. I like switching up the colors and yeah. So Travis Allen, I saw you talking shit on the shoes, my guy, and hey, I respect your opinion. To each their own. Some people are going to think J's or ones or any kicks of any kind look ugly, but I mean, I'm not going to debate with you because you're just wrong. Sorry. But hey, to each their own. You don't have to like them, but I like them. I like them. So I like them. Let's see. Tyler Knoll says, does game day open up in Charlotte for that game with those two dueling it out? No, I don't think so. Alex Heil, same question. Game day in Charlotte? No, I don't think so. I think there will be Florida State. LSU's a big one. This post that when did he post it? Dalton put in the Discord. Somebody tweeted, Garrett Riley might be a good hire for them, but I'm almost 100% sure he's never got retorted with BB. Go Gamecocks. That's at the Luke Tay on Twitter. Fantastic tweet. Fantastic tweet, my guy. I don't know if the whole me and BB thing is like bad or people would get upset about. It feels like something people would get upset about. Like if we were to put that on a shirt, it feels like something people would get upset about. I don't know. You know what would be funny though is putting the screenshot of the tweet. Putting the screenshot of the tweet would be funny. Like on a shirt. That would be that would, in my opinion, would be very funny. Yeah. I think that would be very funny. Lynn Turner says, with NIL, Rice stays and cements his legacy. Sharp was the man. Hate his pro career was cut short. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to think how many guys would have stayed if NIL was a thing. I mean, you think of guys that declared early that would have come back. I think that would have impacted a lot of guys. I think that would have impacted a lot of guys. So, Colby Parker says, as long as you don't wear those damn Yeezy slides. I didn't know. Hold on. What are the Yeezy? I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. The slides look fine. But bro, it's those Yeezy foam runner things. Those are absurd. I'm all about fashion, style, kicks. Like I'm not going to like throw shade on you if you're wearing those. But me personally, I'm good on it, bro. I'm not really. I would ask you this: why are Yeezy slides? Because I'm looking at them right now. Why are Yeezy slides so expensive? Why are these slides so expensive? I mean, they're just normal slides. They're normal slides. I don't know. Anyways, guys, we are going to jump into one final break. But on the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here on the Daily Crow. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Would love to hear from you. Appreciate you all tuning in. Friday the 13th here. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Big weekend upcoming. South Carolina basketball tomorrow night at the CLA, taking on Texas A&M. Looking forward to it. And look at this. Look who we got calling in at the last second.
Call from
Coming in at
Robbie
the
Davis,
buzzer.
Jackson Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Hey, better late than never, right?
Yep. Indeed. What's going on?
First off, congrats to the girls for winning last night,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of business. It was a little scary at first because whenever I saw the halftime score and I was keeping up with it on my phone, I was like, "Uh-oh, we got a problem."
Yeah.
and then but I was
gonna say it seemed like a close game. Yeah, early on at least.
yeah, whenever I saw the halftime score and we were only up by 8, I was like, "Oh crap." But then I thought to myself, I was like, it's Dawn Staley, and we've got some girls that are ballers. They're fixing to put the hammer down. And lo and behold, they put the damn hammer down and said, screw this. We ain't losing to Kentucky again.
Indeed. Yeah, that was a great win. Great win.
And
feels good to be good
yeah.
for Dawn Staley and the squad. So.
And I still can't believe that the men's team went into Kentucky and beat Kentucky.
Wild, right?
I'm still in shock a little bit because I honestly thought Kentucky's going to run us out of the gym. It's not going to be pretty, right? I was like, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an ass whooping, right? They were going to beat us 80. My prediction was 85 to 60, okay? But for some reason, we got the lucky breaks. And I have said this before, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a basketball coach and your team can by some miracle in a game where they don't stand a snowball's chance in hell, okay, if you can cause your opponent to have one and done, and you capitalize off of it and get easy baskets off of transition, you can, even though yes, Kentucky was not ranked, but you can have big time program trajectory changing W's like winning in Kentucky, which is something that Frank Martin, who's a big slapdick, didn't even do in his coaching career at Carolina. And it's about damn time Josh Gray got to start. Good Lord. It's about time you put him in the starting lineup. I've been saying for weeks to put him in the lineup. The man's a savage. The man's a rebounder. Leave him in there. Leave Josh Brown on the sideline.
They ought to let you be the head coach, Robbie.
Leave Hayden Brown on the sideline. I said Josh Brown. I meant Hayden Brown. You know what I meant, though. Just bear with me here. Leave Hayden Brown on the sideline. He's the one that should be coming off the bench. Josh Gray needs to be starting, okay? Because honest to God, I feel like if he didn't start, I think Kentucky would have ran us out of the gym. And Hayden Brown also, the reason why I wouldn't start him is because he gets into foul trouble way too early. All right? No. Someone that gets into foul trouble that early, they shouldn't. They should not be starting. Period. End of story. But by some miracle, we went into Kentucky and took care of business. Can we capitalize off of that? I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but I don't know who we got next. But anywho,
we've got Texas.
Now
we got Texas A&M on Saturday or tomorrow at home.
And if I'm not mistaken, we've beaten them like what, six years in a row?
6 in a row. That's correct. I'll give you. Hey, we got 3 home games in a row upcoming. You got Texas A&M tomorrow night, Ole Miss Tuesday night, and then next Saturday, Auburn at 3:30. That's your home stretch that's upcoming.
The next three.
That's the next 3.
Okay.
So three winnable games.
All right.
3 winnable games, I will say.
I can't. So wait a minute. So So this is like weird because until this year, we haven't beaten A&M in football, but we're 6-0 against the Aggies in basketball. This is what?
In the last
What?
6. In the last 6, yes.
Holy
You
crap!
seem-
At
you
least
s-
we're good at.
you-
At least
you
we're better
seem-
than A&M at something.
You seem perplexed by this, Robbie.
I didn't know. I had no idea. I like because of the whole coaching change and stuff. I didn't really keep up with it, but I was like, I didn't know. Holy crap! At least we're beating A&M in something.
Yeah, for whatever reason, we've owned them in basketball. We've beaten Georgia 11 in a row, I believe is the number. So
Yeah. What?
yeah.
Holy
in
crap!
basketball, in basketball, yeah.
That's it. See, that's why I love sports so much. All right, like especially basketball, because any team can have a bad day. Okay, no matter how good you are, you have a bad day. The shots aren't falling. Your defense ain't working. You can lose. Okay, but I am perplexed at everything you just said to me. I'm like in shock right now. But I'll take it, okay? I'll take it.
It's almost like it's a completely
I
different
will
sport,
take it.
Robbie. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy how that works.
Yeah. But and we play tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night at 6. Yeah, I've got 74-69 Texas A&M.
I'll go the same score as you, but the other way around.
That's a fair pick. Yeah, that is a very fair pick.
So I got us winning. But I'll go ahead and get off here. Go Gamecocks, and to hell with them tater cookers and upstate. Okay, to hell with them. To hell with them. Beamer ball to the freaking moon. You have a great weekend. And as always, leave the dumb stuff to me.
Will do, Robbie. You and Uncle Boudreaux have a fantastic weekend. Marion as well, the entire Robbie Davis gang. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. We'll talk soon. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. How about Robbie, by the way, being mindful of the time here? That's not a normal Robbie move. Robbie being mindful of the time with 10 minutes to go. Love to see that. Love to see that. Hey, guys, quick poll here before we get out of here. Our good friend Chase. I don't know why he just thought he should limit this to the Big Cock Club. Now I see why. Okay. I would love Robbie Davis to answer this. He ran a poll. Favorite food. Robbie's favorite food: French fries, tater tots, corn dogs, or fish sticks. What's the favorite lunch meal? Travis, you have a great weekend as well, my friend. I appreciate y'all sincerely. Hey, I want to say, guys, again, thank y'all so much for the continued love and support. It's a lot of fun, right? I'm about to go on a podcast right now. Again, I mentioned Girls in the Game. We'll share that whenever they drop the conversation. But we're going to be talking a lot about TSUS and business and content and all that stuff. And those conversations are really fun, right? They really are. And I was talking about that with our Carolina Cigars buddies and some guys I met yesterday just about, business. I got the question yesterday from our good friend Justin while we were playing. He's like, dude, how do you make money, right? It's like, how do you monetize business? How do you make what you're doing into a business? And, those are fun conversations. And I tell people, at this point, 6 years ago this month is when I started creating content around the Gamecocks in any capacity. And to see what it is now, this really is the fun part, guys. Like, these are the good old days. You know what I mean? If I could summarize it anyway, these are the good old days, and it's because of you guys showing love and support. And what we've built and what we're building here and what we're continuing to do is really, really special. And I can't say thank you guys enough. I really just cannot say thank you enough for all the continued love, the support. It means the world to me. It means the world to me. And without you guys, TSUS would not be what it is, what it's becoming. It's Beamer ball to the moon. It's the Gamecocks to the moon, but it's also TSUS to the moon. Hey, let's squeeze in one final call before we get out of here.
From
John Edward.
John Edward, you got about a minute, my guy. Go ahead. Fire away.
All right. That's all I needed. So I don't know if anybody realized this, but so far the football team and both basketball teams have beaten both Kentucky and Clemson this athletic season for the main top 4 sports. Now, all I gotta say is, and I'll get out of here because I know it's about to end, but now it's up to baseball to finish the deal and at least win the series against Clemson and Kentucky.
Well said. I love it. Hey, let's get it done on the
Yeah.
diamond, my guy.
Hey, you have a good weekend? Yeah, you have a good weekend.
Yeah, John Everett, I appreciate you, my guy. Well said. Great way to end it, guys. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate you. Hey, go Cox. Beat Texas A&M tomorrow night. Trust the homie Lamont. Y'all have a great weekend. We will talk to you all on Monday.